If you don't check out this movie, they're all gonna laugh at you. Here are 19 reasons to watch Carrie. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is the place where I talk to you about Stephen King. And this is a very special video because this marks the start of our chronological walk through the movies and adaptations of Stephen King's work. Yep, last year I got to the end of the books, so it makes logical sense to jump onto the movies. So we are starting today with 1976's Carrie, based on the novel of the same name, of course, and then we'll be going through every single one for as long as we can do. There will still be one book special every month, and I'll throw in some other things every now and then too, but the main focus for the next few, well, months, maybe even years, is going to be looking at movies and adaptations. So don't forget to keep the comments coming, let me know what you think, and if there's any ways in which I can improve these videos, do let me know, because I'm still kind of figuring it out, particularly when it comes to the movies. A couple of things to plug before we get started. If you hit that link up there or the link down in the description, you can sign up to my newsletter, and as a thank you just for doing that, you get an e-copy of my mini collection, Mirrored plus 10 Tiny Tales of Terror, and every week in your inbox you'll get a nice email from me with an indie horror author to check out, and a short story from me, and just some nice other things to check out as well. So do go and look at that. If you haven't subscribed to the Constant Writers podcast, do make sure you get on that. You can either get the episodes here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And lastly, of course, do pick up your copy of the Ultimate Stephen King quiz book, which I wrote and published last year. It's available on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble. The links are in the description. And if you've already got a copy, then hey, leave me a rating and a review on any of those stores and on Goodreads too, because it really does help. And if you don't know what this book is about, then check out the episode I made a few weeks ago. Okay, so as you already know by now, this is the start of the movies. Train! Fucking hell. Train! Longest train ever. Okay, so we are starting our walk through the movies, which means we're starting with 1976's Carrie, adapted, directed by Brian De Palma, the first Stephen King movie. Now, for these videos, I'm going to try and keep the structure pretty similar throughout all of them, starting with this one and going forward. So again, do let me know what you think, but my plan is to split them up between non-spoilery and potential spoiler reasons. I'll start off with trivia about the movie, history about the movie, notes about the cast, and then after the spoiler alert, I'll jump into things like favourite scenes, Easter eggs, favourite lines, links to the book, how closely it follows the book, all of those kind of things that are not necessarily going to spoil the movie outright, but perhaps things, if you've not seen it yet, you probably want to keep unspoken until you've checked that movie out. But there will be the spoiler alert, so you'll have that option to bail if you need to bail. Hope that sounds okay. Oh, and of course, let me know what you think of 1976's Carrie in the comments. It's always good to hear from you. But with that in mind, let's kick off what could be the next, year and a half, two and a half years of videos. Here are 19 reasons to watch Carrie. So as you probably already know, this was the first adaptation of a Stephen King book, and it gives a nice symmetry because it's an adaptation of Stephen King's first published book. And also, in a nice bit of, I guess, King was paid $2,500 for the rights to this movie, which is basically the same amount he got for the hardcover rights for the book. Now, that doesn't really sound like a lot of money, and it isn't, but this being the first thing of King's that was adapted, he was just thrilled to have it happen. So if you've never seen this movie before, and you're checking out this video because you're curious, I can tell you now, you don't need another 17 reasons. This film is majestic. It's beautifully shot. It's got a great story, great pacing, and it's scary too. It's one of the most iconic horror films ever made. And chances are, you probably are already aware of a bunch of the scenes of this, even without realizing it, because it's that embedded in popular culture. So Carrie is a rare one in the world of Stephen King adaptations because it actually did get some recognition from the Academy Awards. Both Sissy Spacek and Laurie received Oscar nominations for their roles in this film. And there's another fucking train coming. Fuck's sake. Train! But yeah, 2 Oscar nominations from one King movie. Oscar nominations for horror movies. Imagine that. This is a good segue to start talking about the cast, and we'll start with Sissy Spacek, who plays Carrie and is spectacular, and she really went for it in her auditions. Apparently when she turned up to the audition, she'd rubbed Vaseline in her hair and had found some old dress that she used to wear when she was a child and had made it grubby and cut it all up to give her that outcast look. And she spent a bunch of her time looking at images of religious iconography, particularly people being stoned and punished for their sins, and she made sure to try and start or end every one of her scenes in one of those poses. Kind of changes how you look at it on a rewatch when you know that. Laurie, on the other hand, who played Carrie's mother, Margaret, well, she had to be personally told by Brian De Palma that actually this is a horror film and not a black comedy, which she'd assumed. Such was the over-the-top nature of her role and her performance. She really didn't think anyone would take it seriously, but she still went for it. So Sue Snell was played by Amy Irving, and her on-screen mother was played by her actual mother, Priscilla Pointer, keeping it in the family. So one of my personal favourite shout-outs for this has to go to Nancy Allen for her role as the villain Chris Hargensen, double-teamed with John Travolta, of course, in his first major movie role. Now, Nancy Allen has actually said since that she didn't realise until seeing the film that they were so evil. She thought that her and John Travolta's characters were just there for comic relief, and it was only in the final cut of the film that she realised quite what a nasty little person she was playing. So interestingly, on the cast, De Palma actually teamed up with George Lucas for casting sessions, and they did a joint casting session that split it between Carrie and the first Star Wars film, or the first Star Wars film that came out in Earth time, whatever that means. So basically you've got these two casts that could have ended up in other films, effectively meaning there's a parallel universe out there where Carrie Fisher actually plays Carrie in this movie. Now, there are rumours out there that she was set to do this, but she turned it down because of the nude shower scene at the start, but Carrie Fisher has since refuted that claim. Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia, in case you didn't know. But you probably did know that. And Princess Leia is in Star Wars. Yeah, I don't need to tell you that, do we? So I mentioned the nude shower scene, and it's one of those interesting starts to a movie. And you could be forgiven for thinking you're about to enter a soft porn flick, rather than one of the most iconic horror movies of all time when you start this film. It is quite possibly one of the most unrealistic depictions of a girl's locker room that has ever been captured on cinema. So many boobs, so much bush. You can tell that it was recorded A, in the 70s, and B, by a man. Fun fact for you, the high school in this movie, Bates High, is a nod to Norman Bates from the movie Psycho. And if you're paying close attention to the music, you'll also hear that Psycho signature sting, you know, the you'll hear that quite a lot through this film. Another fun fact, Stephen King was so new, so fresh out the gate, so wet behind the ears at this point that they actually spelled his name wrong on the trailer. They spelled it with a V and not a PH. Lastly, before we get to spoilers, I just want to reiterate how good this film is. It's one of the best horror movies ever. It's one of the best high school movies ever. It's one of the best movies ever. If you've not checked it out at this point, change that. Okay, so after this point, things potentially get a bit spoilery, so consider this your spoiler alert. If you need to leave now, feel free to. Otherwise, stick around because I've got a few more reasons for you to watch Carrie. So let's start off by talking about how much this follows the novel, and generally it follows it fairly closely. As you might expect, all of the scientific papers, committee meetings, all of those kind of things, they got ditched from the movie because they wouldn't really work. They're much better suited to the novel. And we don't get the full-on destruction of the town that Carrie inflicts in the book, mainly due to budgetary constraints. Sadly, we also don't get the Hail of Stones either, which I do really enjoy in the book, but I can also see why, particularly for a first ever King movie, it wasn't really going to work. One notable change, of course, though, is the iconic jump scare ending, which gets me every fucking time, and apparently King absolutely loved. So what I want to do in these videos is pick out some of my favourite scenes, and for this movie it's been kind of difficult because there are so many iconic ones, but I'm going to take 3 of these 19 reasons to highlight some of my favourite scenes for you. So number 1, I just mentioned it, that final shot. Kapow! Second, it has to be the shower scene, and not because of the nudity, but because of the claustrophobic Lord of the Flies weird vibe of this baying mob of girls yelling at Carrie to plug it up, plug it up. It's so intense. Finally though, it has to go to the entire prom scene, from the moment Carrie and Tommy take to the stage all the way to its explosive finale. The tension, the split screen, the blood, the fire, the sheer fucking carnage, it is amazing. So there aren't loads of Easter eggs to mention for this, mainly because it's right at the start of King's career, but there's a couple of noteworthy things for you to take away. So Sissy Spacek would later go on to record an audiobook of Carrie, and she would appear in the first season of Castle Rock in 2018, while Amy Irving was the only member of this cast to return for The Rage Carrie 2 in the late 90s, although that's mainly because all of the other characters died. I also want to use these videos to pick out my favourite line, and my favourite line in Carrie, again, a tough choice, but Margaret White going dead behind the eyes and talking about dirty pillows is never not unnerving and disturbing and just freakishly gets under your skin creepy.
I can see your dirty pillows. Everyone will.
Breasts, Mama. They're called breasts.
To sum up, this movie is a masterclass. It is a beautiful, iconic piece of cinema, one of the best horror movies of all time, and a quite staggering way to start this journey through King's works. Okay, so there we go, 19 reasons to watch the 1976 Brian De Palma version of Carrie. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments, as I'd love to hear from you. And let me know what you think of how I've structured the 19 reasons. I'm recording the first few of these together, so this format will stick for the first couple. If you've got any feedback about things that might need changing, do let me know and I can implement them further down the line. A couple of things before we leave. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to this page if you haven't already. Check out any of my videos on the books. You might want to check out my video on the book Carrie, for example. And don't forget to stupid dog, need to put him in a Stephen King book. What was I saying? Things to plug. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Check out some videos. Subscribe to my newsletter. You get my mini collection for free as an ebook, and you get a nice email once a week. Pick up my quiz book because it's really fun and I spent 2 years of my life writing it. And maybe check out the Constant Writers podcast as well if you haven't done so already. You can watch it right here on YouTube, or you can go and find it wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Apple Podcasts, that's Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever. Go check it out. Okay, we started the movies and adaptations, and that means next time we're off to a small town in Maine where things are starting to go bump in the night and bite, bite, bite. See you then.